Hello, and welcome to today's event on how to level up your career in project management. My name is Joanna Baidu, and I'm a Partner Success Specialist here at PMI focused on Africa. In my role as a Partner Success Specialist, my primary goal is to help our partners be more successful in the learning and development of their workforce, as well as with their transformation efforts. I also carry the title of Regional Youth Lead, again focused on Africa. And in my role as a regional youth lead, I build partnerships with youth-serving nonprofits and universities to support the development of young people's skills to ensure they are job ready in order to make their dreams a reality. I'm excited to be here today with Dr. Kenneth Harris, who's a senior project engineer at the Aerospace Corporation, who works on the US Department of Defense and NASA's payload mission to keep on-orbit satellites safe from threats. We'll be speaking to you today about accelerating project careers. Today, we'll be starting our presentation with a short introduction to PMI and today's world of project management. We'll then move into the main focus of our event, as Kenny and I chat project careers, how he got started and accelerated into various project leadership roles, and how you can too. At the end of the presentation, I'll speak a little bit about the PMI community and what I see as some of the best career tools you can leverage to really grow and up-level your impact as a project manager over time. So let's get started with a brief introduction of PMI. PMI is the world's leading authority in project management, the organization that sets the standards for the entire profession, and we serve the 3 million project management professionals working in just about every country by providing certifications, community, education, research, and advocacy. We're living in the project economy where, according to the latest PMI Talent Gap report, 25 million new project professionals are needed by the year 2030. That's 2.3 million a year. The value of project-oriented economic activities is forecast to nearly double in 10 years from a $12 trillion economy in 2017 to $20 trillion in 2027. And according to a recent study by PwC, 97% of leaders agree that project management is critical to business performance and organizational success. So, with so many opportunities over the course of a project career, how do you narrow down your next steps, and what are some of the factors that enable professional acceleration and growth? One of the obvious ones is pursuing industry standard certifications that prove your expertise, experience, and worth to employers and can often unlock new leadership levels. The PMP is the gold standard in certifications for project management, and PMP holders see a tangible career bump. But there are many more factors that go into accelerating a project career, and that's why I'm so excited to introduce you to our guest speaker today. Acknowledged by Forbes magazine amongst the world's youngest and most impactful individuals in the field of science, our guest today, Kenneth Harris, is known for delivering thoughtful and dynamic leadership on programs of critical national and international importance. Kenneth is a senior project engineer for the Aerospace Corporation, where he works with both the US Department of Defense and NASA on payload missions. In this role, he's responsible for developing procedures and implementing processes to defend on-orbit satellites from physical and cyber threats, ensuring effective data collection and mission success. Previously, he led a team of engineers working on the James Webb Space Telescope and was internationally recognized as one of the PMI Future 50 honorees in 2020 for his incredible leadership at NASA on the local and international level. To get where he is today, he worked his way up from an internship role, secured bachelor's and advanced degrees in engineering and engineering management, and finally stepped up as a project leader to direct teams. So I think we can say he's definitely lived the transition from project beginner to senior project leader, and he knows what it takes to get to the next level at the early stages of your career. We're so pleased to have you joining us today, Kenny, to provide some wisdom and actionable next steps for project professionals who are looking to accelerate their impact. But before we get into the details of career growth, I'd like to ask you a question, which is, can you tell us a little bit more about your background and your current role at the Aerospace Corporation?
Yeah. And thank you so much for that introduction, Joanna. I am so happy to be here with you today. like you said, I've transitioned from internship through my academic career, advanced degrees, and then eventually kind of jumped feet first into, or head first rather, into project management. But I couldn't do it without great mentors, and all the experiences that I got during those internships that led me to what I do today. So I started my first internship when I was 15 years old with NASA Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. And that was really the catalyst that tipped over these dominoes, right? So after I went through the internship program, which was a phenomenal program, I was able to do a lot of mechanical backgrounds, a lot of thermal background, as well as testing and fabrication, because I'm a hands-on kind of person when it comes to engineering. So that relayed over to developing payloads and then deployment systems, things like the Global Precipitation Measurement Satellite. And then that eventually rolled into the James Webb Space Telescope, which my favorite mission by far. But all those experiences that I have, like, and all those experiences in the networking that I have, talked to these different individuals, they help to point me in the right direction to say, hey, you should work on these skill sets to get you where you are today. So at the Aerospace Corporation, I currently work with both NASA and DoD, again, on those payload style programs, some commercial style programs as well. And really, really fortunate to do what I do every day.
Wow, that's impressive, Kenny, I must say. So I guess success in project management really requires a broad range of skills, both hard and soft. So on that note, here at PMI, we've developed the talent triangle to show the most critical competencies that help project leaders in their career, which we've broken into 3 categories, known as the power skills, ways of working, and business acumen. Power skills are those critical interpersonal or soft skills that help professionals build influence and relationships. Ways of working is knowing several ways to get projects done and which to apply and when. Business acumen is understanding how your work fits into the larger picture of your organization and global trends. Which leads me to my second question, which is, what are some of your entry-level experiences? And once you started thinking about some more senior roles, how did you identify and build key competencies you needed to level up your career to lead?
So I will say, when I first started off, I don't know how rare it is, but I don't know if anyone actually gets into engineering or their field saying, hey, I want to be a project manager one day. I mean, maybe some people do. I did not. I wanted to remain technical for most of my career. I just wanted to be the guy in the bunny suit that puts these satellites together, that does kind of the hands-on testing. That was my goal. That was what what I thought was cool when I was young. Side story: when I was young, I really liked Transformers. And I was like, this is really cool. It's just like building. Anyway, long story short, I did not have the intention to go into project management, but my network of mentors did identify certain things, as you defined in this talent triangle, more or less. I don't know if it was called the talent triangle then, but they identify things like that. Like your power skills and your ways of working, your business acumen. And one of the main things they pointed out to me was the opportunity to build influence and develop these relationships, and develop your network so that you can learn from these different individuals that are kind of in these skill sets. And I imagine that is has matriculated over many, many years. And I did not know the actual depth of project management until I started to think of emulating some of these people that were teaching me these different things. But all that to say that it's a unique journey. It's a custom kind of flow to things. But that triangle does present the framework, as you defined, to kind of set the groundwork, right?
Right. And I mean, as you made reference about like mentors and things, it kind of just speaks to, I guess, the community that we have here at PMI in terms of the volunteers and the efforts that they put into ensuring that young people or young professionals or students are career ready with the efforts that they go out and make into the communities, be it whether it's academic institutions or youth serving nonprofits, to really enable and empower them through a number of ways, but just to ensure that they're job ready through the skills that they would acquire or develop through project management specifically.
I was going to say, I think that those experiences, help you. Like, you don't realize what what skill areas you need development in. I won't call it weakness, but you don't realize what areas you need development in until you actually get into an experience and continue to develop it. Or if it's just feedback from a mentor or someone else to say, hey, I think I excel in communication or strategic thinking or anything like that, but I could use some additional development in these other areas. So I say that to say, put yourself out there. You have to put yourself or be in these situations to learn how to develop in different ways.
Well said. I couldn't agree with you more. And I guess a lot of competencies vary in relevancy by what career stage you're in. For example, you might need very strong problem solving skills at the start of your career, but not need to be as good at strategic thinking as you would need to be in later years. So when we're talking about the first several years of a project career, I guess my question to you would be, what skills do you think are most important for early career project managers to consider?
Tough question, easy question. The tough part of it is because, again, like I said, every journey is unique. Every journey is kind of custom. The easy part is hindsight's 2020. So if you were asking me today what I think I needed when I was younger, I could kind of list that out for you. My initial thing, my top one always is communication. I think not only for the aspect of being able to articulate either designs or thoughts, presentations, anything like that, but it's also from a teamwork standpoint, because no one builds a satellite alone. No one puts anything to space by themselves. No one gets to space, et cetera, by themselves. So in some way, you need to be able to articulate these thoughts, these designs, the configuration for a certain instrument to work within these very specific margins to do what you want it to do. So communication is always my top one. In reference to building stage relevant skills or the skills necessary to be in programmatic management, communication is one. The second one that I would put up there, the tie between problem solving and strategic thinking, because even though they sound very similar, they are different. I know some people put problem solving over strategic thinking, but I think I prefer strategic thinking mainly because of the process that you go through to get to that answer. Problem solving is great from like a teamwork perspective and things of that nature. But I think when it comes to actually taking a step back and seeing the big bird's eye view, that would kind of be my preference and what I would lean toward. They're both important, but I would put strategic thinking over problem solving. And let's see. Finally, number three is, again, it's up there, but it goes back to the talent triangle that you mentioned earlier. One of the power skills in terms of facilitating these relationships and things of that nature is networking and building and developing relationships. Because I think one of the root things of being a project manager is how you interact with coworkers, how you interact with people that report to you, how you develop this team that becomes comfortable working with each other and rowing toward this common goal. So if you are a project manager that is phenomenal at their job, but you have no interpersonal skills or you have no relationships developed, whether that is customer-based relationship for business needs or whether it is your team that you see every day or every day virtually, I think it's almost for naught how experienced you are. And I think executive level people think that way, to say, hey, we want someone that is not a people person, but can facilitate those kinds of relationships. So communication, strategic thinking, and networking and developing relationships would be my top three.
That's amazing. Thanks for that. I guess in project management, we typically hear professionals talking a lot about obtaining the PMP, which is the gold standard of project management certifications, and typically taken in your early mid-career after you've had a few years of experience as a professional. But there are a variety of certifications and specializations that can come before and after the PMP. And with so many, I guess it can be hard to determine which one is right for you and at which time. So I guess my question to you would be, what role did certification play in your career path? And at what stage did you think young professionals should start to think about getting specific certifications?
Yeah, so being transparent, I do not have any certifications. My path was a bit different, and I'm actually just finishing up my doctoral or my doctorate in project management. So I literally just got off of that ride. But next on my list is our certification specifically, and it does not mean that I haven't again considered them because I know the great potential that they do have. I've worked alongside with a lot of amazing individuals that actually do have these certifications, and they are able to leverage them in various capacities. I think that whether it's a specialized certification or for like the future of developing a skill, they are necessary. I think that being able to have just that breadth of experience within your team that comes from not only your experiences within the industry or within your career, but from an academic standpoint is invaluable. I think that the wealth of knowledge that the certifications provide not only give you a leg up when it comes to competing with others in the industry, but again, it also continues to develop those skills that you need, whether it is the top three that I just mentioned or whether it's the talent triangle. I think as long as you are continuously challenging yourself, not becoming complacent in kind of where you are in your journey, I think that you can't really go wrong with the area that you are in because you're constantly developing. So in terms of certifications, I do not have any at the moment. Next on my list is to start studying for the PMP. Yeah, not yet. It's right there next on my list. Like I said, I just got off that ride, that that other ride. So I am taking a short break, but again, not losing sight of where I'm going with it. I think having the right information now for younger people in the industry that are thinking about it, I don't think it's ever too early to consider it. I think that if you start right here and start today, you can plan out what you want to do. Again, you have a general idea of the direction that you're going, and it's fine to pivot along this route. But if you say today I am a freshman or a sophomore in college and say one day I want to get a certification, that I think that is good enough. Now you look to see which certification you want to do, you continue what you're doing, and you pivot accordingly to get where you need to go. And that's based on your gut feeling, that's based on your mentors and your network, that's based on your peers at the time. I've had peers that have said, hey, I'm going to take an additional course to learn about fluid mechanics. And I said, okay, I'm going to do that too, because I want to be challenged and I think we're going in the same direction. So it's just an example, like, bring your friends into it is all I'm saying. But constantly challenge yourself. Don't become complacent and pivot as necessary.
Congratulations on your doctorate. Hopefully you'll soon be known as Dr. Kenneth Harris with the PMP straight after that. So I challenge you to complete your PMP, at least within the next time we speak, you should have your PMP. Yeah? Got
it.
Agreed. Good. Okay. So I guess looking back at your career, what would you say was the biggest career break and your biggest missed career opportunity?
Oh, this is kind of interesting story that doesn't have a lot to do with project management, but just being a young engineer. I would say that one of my biggest career, I guess, gaps or misses, I would say that I actually, it almost happened, it didn't happen, is when I was offered the opportunity to work on James Webb, I was almost fresh out of college. Was I fresh out of college? I was 2 years fresh out of college. I was starting my master's program at Johns Hopkins, and my boss at the time came to me and said, "Hey, Kenny, we need you to do harness configuration, some integration work, and some housing designs for the James Webb Space Telescope." At this time, I was not following this project because I guess I was living under a rock, but I was not following this program at the time. And I said, okay, I can do that, but that is, extensive it was more than 40 hours a week. It was like 60 hours a week or something like that. But at least for the first like few weeks. And I basically said, okay, well, are we going to be able to subsidize my other work? Will I have opportunities to do other things I need to do? More or less, they said, no, it's a big push to get this stuff done now. And, we would just expect you to take on the additional work. I said, no, it was an option. So I said, no, thank you. Like, I don't want to do it. And I went to my mentor, who was my very first mentor in high school when I was 15 years old. I told him the situation. I told him, hey, they said I could do all that, but they wouldn't pay me anymore. And he said, okay, what's the big deal? I said, well, I want to get paid for my time. And he said, yeah, but what about the experience? And what about what this program could mean for the future? Anyway, long story short, I went back to my boss. We worked something out. I said, yeah, definitely, I can help out. So I ended up doing it. I ended up working on the James Webb Space Telescope, ended up helping to integrate the ISOM component. Sorry, I'm speaking acronyms. I helped to put the big gold mirrors that were on the top, the OTE, with the ISOM, which is the mechanical housing for the instrumentation together. And together that makes Otis, which is the big part that goes down onto the sun shields, for all those that have seen James Webb. And I was able to help integrate this. I was able to help route the harnessing and wiring for it. I was able to travel with it when it went down to the Johnson facility in Texas. We put it in Chamber A, where they tested some of the Apollo landers. And we shut it in the chamber and we closed the door, and then a tornado a hurricane hit Texas. So we were all worried about that. But that was almost my biggest missed opportunity, was not taking the opportunity to work on James Webb, because I was caught up in monetary things. It was really I need to be compensated for my time, which I think is very important. But at that time, I was really blinded by a few extra $100 or so. So that was almost my biggest missed opportunity. I would say that I'm kind of in the mindset of things happen for a reason. So when it comes to missing something, I don't necessarily see it as a miss. I see it as kind of, again, a pivot to kind of where you're going along your journey. And oftentimes putting too much mental real estate into the what if, like what would have happened had I done this or had I done this, distracts you from ultimately where you're going. And everyone doesn't really align with that mindset, but I don't think that it's a missed opportunity. I just think it's a way to pivot and to get you where you need to go. But that falls back again to your network, your communications, and those that you have around you to help to point you in that right direction and get you where you need to go. So again, top one, communication, strategic network building. Yeah.
Just being able to foster collaboration and team building within your organization, I guess, is essential when you're in the role of a project manager. But beyond your company, finding your place within a wider professional community is also extremely important. And we're lucky as a profession, I guess, as a project management profession, to have an extremely robust and collaborative global community that's over 2 million professionals strong. What would you do? What job would you ultimately want to see yourself in? And what are you doing now to accelerate your career?
Yeah, so outside of engineering, sciences, and things of that nature, I have a passion for helping to bridge the gap for diverse students, specifically in engineering. I grew up in Prince George's County, Maryland. Our school system is 97% African-American students. And me being in this field, I understand that across the United States, African Americans make up 3.3% of the engineering field. And so I see my home county as almost like a hub for where a lot of people that could potentially be in the field would come from. So with that, I often do a lot of classroom speaking engagements, conference speaking engagements for younger audiences, kind of educational videos, partnerships of that nature. And that's been a real passion of mine since I got my initial internship, and to this day. I currently serve on the Prince George's County Board of Education. I represent the 7th District So over 130,000 students working to create partnerships between a lot of organizations. Aerospace has helped me partner with them. NASA's partnered, the Smithsonian in DC, Microsoft. We've done a lot of partnerships where we are able to immerse these students in these experiences and allow them to see science off the paper, lift it off the page and help to get them involved, because we see that middle school age is where a lot of those individuals get disconnected. So back to your top question, my dream job would be something that helps to continue to bridge that gap, whether it's from the industry side, whether it's from the political side. I don't really have a strong interest in politics, but it was, a way to help to pay it forward to the next generation. One thing that I understand really, really deeply is that I would not be here without my network. I would have made a lot of silly decisions. And for that, and for me being grateful for them, I realized that I need to pay that forward in some way to the next generation. And so I'm really fortunate to be in the position that I am. And I hope to continue to drive myself forward and be driven forward by those around me so that I can be able to make the impact that I wish to make within this industry.
Yeah, and I mean, impact is what we live and breathe here at PMI. So what role did the PMI and the project management community play in your career over time? And has that role evolved?
Yeah, so PMI, for me, PMI allowed me early on in my career to understand that there was a group that had the tools and the resources and the support that I needed in order to continue to develop my career. It wasn't just different individuals within the field of engineering solely, like space industry or defense industry. It was across the gamut. So it was a place where I was able to pick the brains of multiple people across the industry, because project management skills are not solely to the sciences, right? But you often kind of yield to one side because that's where you come from and you can kind of relate in that way. But by branching out to those that are external to this field, it allowed me to have different perspectives even when I enter these different situations. So I've had some absolutely amazing experiences and developed these great relationships with this group across different chapters, not only domestic to the US, but also international, helping to develop our future leaders that are within the group, and even connecting with executive level leadership within PMI, which I found was kind of easily accessible, which you don't find everywhere, right? You don't find someone at the executive level that says, oh yeah, let's take 30 minutes and talk and be able to actually hear about their experience and hear about their background. So PMI in the community, again, even if you don't have the thought that, hey, I want to get into project management in some way, I really think it could still serve you as a young engineer, a seasoned engineer, or not engineer, sorry, a professional in your field, wherever you are in your journey. I think it could serve you well, because again, crucial life skill is that communication aspect. I'm gonna keep preaching that is the communication aspect, and even to the point where it's just really easy to connect and talk to individuals like like you and I, Joanna. We've met once before this, and I feel like it's really easy to translate, or not to translate, but to articulate these thoughts that I have to you, or these ideas I have to you, and be able to potentially partner on some things in the future. And so I am, again, really fortunate to be where I am. I think it's a great community to have. I think everyone should take an opportunity to at least look into it and continue to push your career forward.
Great. Thank you, Kenny. So for all of our listeners today, as you think about taking that next step in your career, I'd encourage you to explore PMI's membership offerings for project professionals. Our community is committed to empowering the next generation of leaders to continue spearheading change and making an impact within the profession. And we have local chapters of amazing professionals that meet to support each other all over the world. Becoming a member means you get access to exclusive resources like free and discounted courses and certifications to get to the next level, a global network of more than 3 million professionals, and 650,000 plus members, including peers, advocates, and mentors that can help you unlock new opportunities. You also stand to gain exclusive access to opportunities on PMI's global industry job boards. You also gain access to thought leadership and industry resources. And lastly, but not the least, you receive volunteer and leadership opportunities through PMI's local worldwide chapters. So if you're a student joining us today, I'd especially encourage you to consider our student membership option, which comes out to less than $3 a month and includes all the same resources as our full membership package. All that being said, that concludes our presentation for the day. I want to thank you, Kenny, for joining us and sharing some fabulous insights on your experiences in furthering your career in project management. And I want to thank you all very much for listening. We look forward to continuing to support you in your professional development and connecting you with the resources you need to drive new ideas forward. Thank you all. Goodbye.